Imagine a future where everyone is able to realize the power of working together for a holistically healthier world. That's what I aim to take a step towards when I embarked on my CAP journey, starting with our youngest but most compassionate individuals. Hi, my name is Tahlia Martigango, and I'm a student at the University of Technology in Sydney. Don't you find it frustrating that there are centuries worth of untapped knowledge that could be used to heal our Earth, yet are discarded on the basis of colonialist agendas and discrimination? I think it's more frustrating that people don't even realize the potential of this knowledge. And with a lack of teaching resources and support, I think I can understand. My climate action project aims to educate young students as our greatest hope and asset in securing a sustainable future together. Over 5 months, I'm proud to have researched, written, and published a children's book and accompanying educational resource to be used in kindergarten to year 4 classrooms as a step towards healing our relationship with our Indigenous people so that we can work together for our planet. Oops. My children's book, Letters to Jess, is crafted from the perspective of Olive, a non-Indigenous girl who is devastated at the impact bushfires have had on her home and the environment and is wondering why no one's doing anything about it. The storyline is built on the development of a friendship between Olive and Indigenous young girl, Jess, through a series of letters that ultimately educate students on the immense knowledge and experience that Indigenous people have to help us heal our planet and models the collaboration and respect needed to do so. Education on Indigenous culture is required learning in Australia from kindergarten to year 12. However, it's often neglected due to a lack of resources and teacher support. I wanted the outcomes of the Australian curriculum to underpin my entire resource. So for example, I focus on this year 3 dot point that focuses on the interconnection of Indigenous people with country and place. And so I've shaped my teaching notes and student activities around these specific curriculum outcomes, as well as expanding on the concepts that I've introduced within my book. But this work didn't do itself. Over the course of 5 months, I'm so grateful to have come out with not only a tangible climate action project, but also new knowledge, skills, and connections that will be vital in my journey as an individual working towards a holistically sustainable future. Throughout November, December, and January, my primary goal was making connections within and learning about the Indigenous community in Australia, where I wanted to work towards a more concrete understanding of the concepts that I would embed within my book. I set up a Zoom meeting with a local Indigenous family, as well as a notable Indigenous author, and we discussed their perspectives on climate change, how they were personally impacted by climate change, how their community was impacted by climate change, and also their perspectives on my proposed project, which really allowed me to shape my storyline and also to assess the cultural correctness of my execution. Given the dispossession of Indigenous stories and knowledge through decades of colonisation, I really wanted this collaboration to be at the forefront of my materials in order to ensure that they invited respect for Indigenous voices. During this time, I also took trips to different libraries and bookstores in order to enhance and ensure that the tone and concepts were targeted to my market. So in February, I worked towards a more concrete storyline and plans for drafts moving forward. However, my extensive research and collaboration over the previous months meant that I was actually able to complete 3 full drafts of my book. The partnerships that I'd formed with Indigenous people were also vital in allowing me to enhance the quality and the accuracy of my drafts. One such piece of feedback that I was really proud to receive on my final draft came from an Indigenous student who recalled her elementary school years and stated that this book would have been a really great resource for her peers to start understanding the positive potential that her community has to offer. With my progress in February, I was really excited to see everything start to come together in March, where I aim to have an illustrated and published book with a completed resource. Together, my illustrator and I spent time drafting storyboards and negotiating deadlines. And I also sought feedback during this process from the Indigenous community in order to ensure that any unconscious biases that myself or my illustrator had didn't impact the way that Indigenous people were visually portrayed. I also continued to develop my teaching resource through extensive consultation of the Australian curriculums, further research, as well as thorough feedback from teachers, students, and Indigenous people. Whilst I individually completed my climate action project, collaboration was absolutely fundamental to the completion and success of my project. Working with stakeholders, including students, teachers, and Indigenous individuals, were absolutely vital to allow me to gain an understanding of their wants, needs, and their perspectives so that I could create materials that would actually serve these stakeholders and their communities. So my project was inspired by a blatant disregard for Indigenous voices and perspectives in climate policy and actions, which I believe can really be amended through education. With the help of the Indigenous community, teachers, students, and of course my mentor ambassador team, I'm so proud to have published both my book and my resource. My book is now available globally on Amazon in both ebook and paperback formats, and I'm currently awaiting feedback on my manuscript from larger publishing houses such as Macmillan Publishing Australia. My resource is also now available on Teachers Pay Teachers, which is really exciting. So the materials that I've developed for my CAP aim to reinforce the importance of learning together and working together in the hope that our next generation will be able to adequately reinvent our relationship with our Indigenous people and realise the wealth of knowledge and skill that they have in order to help us heal our planet. Indigenous people that I've been in contact with have said it's a great representation of the need for collaboration and have praised me on my respect of the delicate topic. However, whilst I've achieved most of my initial goals, I don't intend on stopping here. I intend to make the most of my connections that I've formed on this journey to help me bring this further and amplify the impact of my CAP. I'm looking forward to working with my connections further and continuing to create new connections in order to continue to refine and develop my project and have real students learning and benefiting from these in the classroom. Receiving feedback from teachers and students who have used these materials in a classroom setting would also help me create further resources for differing age groups. With my book and my resource, I truly believe we can positively impact all stakeholders, teachers, students, and Indigenous people, as well as our broader general community, empowering them to work towards a future where potential isn't hidden under decades of discrimination and colonialist agendas, rather is brought to the forefront as viable skills, knowledge, and experience that can help us achieve something we will all benefit from, a healthy planet. Thank you.